Sharks are predators of the ocean, but even they can get scared. From microscopic creatures such as this to cute animals like this, let's visit the shark's best known enemy, orcas. Orcas seem cute and cuddly, but out in the wilds, they're anything but tame. If the great white is the king of the sea, then the orcas are the dragons coming to burn down their kingdom. For sharks, orcas are the boogeymen and the bane of their very existence. So much so that when orcas invade the sharks' area, the sharks evict themselves instead of the orcas, and stay away for extended periods of time. Currently, this is precisely what's happening over in South African waters, which had the title of being the great white shark capital of the world. The ocean in South Africa is a shark wonderland, as there's plenty of sea life to dine on. However, a silent killer arrived one day and started dwindling the sharks' numbers. And much like any good sea killer, it left its trademark after each kill. On every dead shark was a distinctive wound of the great white's liver being ripped out, sometimes even the heart. People first blamed each other for these shark losses, but scientists discovered the actual killers over time. Take a wild guess, it's the orcas. Since then, these things have lived around guns by, and they don't appear interested in moving anytime soon. Dolphins. Dolphins are lovable, and they have funny laughs. I mean, really, who wouldn't chuckle along when a dolphin starts having a giggling fit? Sharks, though, they got dolphin phobia for the most part. Honestly, that's a word I didn't think I'd be using. Either way, though, it's true. Aside from the orca, a dolphin species, sharks don't get along with regular dolphins either. Dolphins are far more agile and mobile thanks to their horizontal tails. Oh, and if you mess with the dolphin, the shark gets the snout and the head. Dolphin snouts and skulls are made of strong, thick bone, essentially being biological battering rams. If they happen to use it against a shark, that shark will suffer serious internal injuries, while the dolphin feels almost nothing at all except for amusement. A lot already, am I right? Don't forget, though, that dolphins are cooperative, and the whole pod will not hesitate to come to the defense of the other in case of an attack. Not that a surprise attack is likely in the first place. These adorable mammals can locate sharks easily using echolocation, so it's gonna be difficult for the predator to find a blind spot. Tough luck, sharks. MIAMIENSIS AVIDUS. Not every threatening thing is visible to the naked eye. Some of them you need to look under the microscope for. Honestly, if you don't, you might think that Armageddon or a major extinction event was happening in San Francisco Bay in March of 2017. Hundreds of leopard sharks lined the shores of San Francisco Bay along with various other species of sharks and rays. This mass die-off event prompted serious concern from fish pathologists. Just what on earth could have caused so many marine animals to pass away so quickly? Well, the answer was found by Mark Okihiro, a senior fish pathologist at the California Department of Fish and Wildlife under the microscope. After conducting numerous biopsies of deceased sharks and fish that were washed on the beaches, Okihiro discovered they all suffered from inflammation, bleeding, and lesions in the brain from being eaten by a nasty parasite. This parasite is the protozoan called MIAMIENSIS avidus. The protozoan is known to be responsible for the rapid death of sharks in aquariums. So this tiny thing got them in the wild too, not just in cages. Either way, it's still all terrifying. Omatacoito elongata. Something's making sharks blind, and it is neither toxin nor is it artificial. In fact, it could be one of the reasons sharks attack humans. So what's the culprit? A small parasite called the elongata. You ever had something lodged in your eye before? Maybe a stray fly that flew too close to your eyelids only to get caught? Well, what sharks suffer through with elongata is a little like that, except they don't have the luxury of eye drops or water to help drain the foreign object out. So instead of living on like normal, these predators go blind over time. No, the parasite doesn't become stuck and lodged permanently in the shark's eye. That's a little gross. Instead, what these critters do is take nibbles of the shark's eyes, making scars on their coronas. By doing this several times over a period, the sharks eventually become blind. Alright, actually, that sounds much worse. Anyway, may not be as life-threatening as the protozoan form earlier, but it definitely reduces the animal's quality of life. Nasty little things. Leopard seals. Yeah, they're kinda cute when they're not out for penguins, but penguins aren't the only thing they terrorize. Just a few months ago, scientists found the first evidence that leopard seals feed on sharks too. In a world first, New Zealand leopard seals have been found to eat sharks. A study led by Krista van der Linde of leopardseals.org discovered shark remains in the excrement of leopard seals, as well as visible signs of struggle with sharks on the mammal's body. This all indicates that the animal preyed on sharks rather than scavenging from their dead bodies. Vanderlinde is unsure why the seals are targeting sharks given how risky it is to hunt them, but she theorizes that there must be something nutritious in shark meat that makes them desirable, regardless of the danger. Perhaps, weirdly, they're good treats for seals? I don't know, man, but that sounds intense. Researchers are still trying to determine whether leopard seals always feasted on sharks or if this behavior is new, as it's rare to see predators feeding on other predators. Giant moray eel. Yeah, no, shark or not, this predator is savage. Even fights its own kind and rips the other party in half. Moray eels are no strangers to painted fights. Take a look around the internet. You'll see tons of videos wherein morays get into fierce battles with different sea creatures. Some of these appear as though they should top over the moray, but they don't. With sharks, though, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes the moray triumphs and gets away with a giant meal, while other times morays are just lucky to be alive after an encounter. One thing's for sure, though. Between these two predators, size is not what truly matters. It's technique. Why is that? Well, because if the fight was based solely on weight, the moray eel would have easily won the tussle. It had the small white-tipped shark, but because the shark was mobile and had an abundance of patience, it escaped the moray's jaws and survived to tell the tale. I bet a lot of underwater creatures wish they took notes in case of future emergencies. Giant octopus. Between an octopus and a shark, I bet a lot of us would predict the shark would win. Why not, though? Octopi aren't exactly prime predators when we think sharks are involved. Yeah, they're masters of camouflage, but that's something we believe they use to get out of tricky situations. I mean, really, how can that camouflage be used as a weapon? Well, this octopus inside an aquarium reminded us not to judge an animal by its reputation. When the going gets tough and they're backed into a corner, they become incredibly threatening. In fact, it's so threatening that tons of shark carcasses have been found at the bottom of the tank. The owner of the aquarium didn't know what was happening. All he knew was that his sharks were slowly disappearing. Surprisingly, however, whatever the predator was, it didn't touch the octopus. Out of curiosity, he installed cameras to monitor what was going on. Lo and behold, the mystery predator was the octopus. Just take a look at the footage here. It actively went after the sharks. Nobody really saw that one coming, and it's honestly kind of disturbing. Giant isopods. It's not immediately obvious what had killed this shark, but a first watch already makes it clear that it's not something to take lightly. Look, that shark's friend swims away as the shark is being eaten to death. If it were anything else, perhaps the big fish would have taken its chances and helped out, but it really didn't. What kind of creature could solicit that kind of reaction? Well, after several rewatches, many viewers have concluded that the predator was a giant isopod. Dwelling about 7,000 feet below the surface, giant isopods are beyond recreational scuba divers' reach. However, they're occasionally caught by fishermen. While usually scavengers, sometimes, when they go hungry, isopods decide to hunt actively. In the video we've seen, it captured a large dogfish shark and devoured its face in one single go. Pretty devastating way to go, honestly. That said, these creatures are generally harmless despite what we've seen. In fact, they're considered helpful vacuum cleaners that clean the ocean floor. Without them, marine animals would take longer to decompose. Still, we think that dogfish would have appreciated a heads up at least. Red tide. Red tides don't affect just small fish, it affects sharks too. Hundreds of coastal sharks took refuge in a Florida canal to escape the effects of a toxic red tide outbreak, which had already killed hundreds if not thousands of marine animals. Residents of Buttonwood Harbor recorded unusual videos of bonnethead, black-tipped nurse, and lemon sharks swimming close to their homes. This isn't the first time Florida faced red tide problems caused by the Caranja brevis algae. However, last year's bloom was particularly significant. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission reported that 5 counties generated complaints of respiratory distress in humans connected to the red tide. Jeez, we're not even in direct contact and we're having trouble. Just think how the sharks are. You know the sad thing though? Maybe it's not just the red tide that's making everyone feel funny. The area is a few miles away from a beach site where millions of gallons of toxic discharge were thrown into Tampa Bay. It's only speculation, but that could also be a cause too. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it really works. Dive cages. I bet nobody saw this one coming, but it's true. There's a reason why sharks are so aggressive towards people in dive cages. They absolutely hate the cages. Why is that though? Well, really, it's no secret that sharks lose teeth as easily as they breathe. Fun fact, the great white shark can go through 20,000 teeth within its 70-year lifetime. That's roughly one tooth a day. Really though, it's no surprise, given its chompers are not planted in bone but on soft cartilage. That staggering number happens just as it lives life as usual. It swims, hunts food, and swims. Imagine what a diving cage does to a restless and aggressive shark, though. Honestly, it makes them look like Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, who wants to have all their teeth knocked out. That's the reality, though, that every time a shark slams into the metal bars and tries snacking on the people inside. Really, it's not that big of a deal, but how will they eat anything within the time it takes to grow back? So, while it sounds funny, dive cages are a real menace to sharks. See you all next time!